Do you really care what everyone else thinks of you? You know you can't be liked by everyone, right? So rather than being stressed out trying to live up to everyone else's expectations, do yourself a favor and make a promise to yourself to work on becoming more in line with your values. And this doesn't mean you're going to become argumentative, disrespectful, or unkind. It means you're going to simply uphold your values and live by them. No more agreeing with things that you don't think are right. It also means that you may need to learn how to say no more often so that you can direct your energy into the people and things that are way more important to you. So how do you do that when putting on a social mask has become so automatic? When your choices are no longer your own, that they're kind of someone else's. When you listen to music that you didn't choose or like, and you watch a movie that is really not your thing. So if you have been caring so much about how others perceive you, then you have essentially become the person you think they want you to be. So who are you? At this point, I really have to remind myself and to you, my friend, that time is way too precious to not live by our values and our truth. So let's dive in. It's completely natural to want to impress, to fit in, to be liked. At an interview, on a date, you're meeting new friends, speaking in front of an audience. But how far do you go to please someone, to be liked? If it is at the detriment of your true, authentic self and the things you truly value, then that is not only being dishonest to yourself, but it's exhausting. This is why so many relationships fail, because it's exhausting putting on a show, always being happy, full of energy, great hair, makeup, uncomfortable shoes, but wow, do they look good. Take off the mask. Wow, they're still interested? Or maybe they're not. To be your true self, the sooner you can be honest with yourself and live by your values. And for me, starting a new YouTube channel, wow, my ears are burning. I'm sure everyone's got an opinion, judgments, criticism, and that's completely natural. Will she keep posting? Oh, I think she'll probably give up. Especially the people that know me, I'm sure they have lots of opinions that I will never hear. But if I allowed that to bother me, if I spent my valuable energy worrying about their opinions, I would not be able to do this. I only started the channel 3 months ago, and whilst I really love doing this, I am probably my own worst enemy, my own worst critique. I'm editing my videos, I'm cringing at the mistakes, how I look, how I've said something, the timing's off, feeling like I didn't quite get the message across, that I'm talking too slow, that I'm talking too fast. And these are all questions based on the underlying fear. What are others thinking about me? But I know that's futile. I have no control over that. The individuals that don't like my videos, well, they'll switch channels, and that's okay. So I override caring what everyone else thinks of me to asking myself questions like, do I believe in what I'm saying? Have I researched my subject thoroughly? Am I doing my very best to be of service to others? Am I being authentic? And if I can answer yes to all of these questions, I am so not wasting my energy on the people and things that I'll never be able to change. And of course, just like you, I am critical and judgmental of others too. But if you focus your energy on trying to turn around the people that don't like you or your values, then that is completely futile. Essentially, you are giving your power away. So rather than focus on the people that just don't like you, focus on those who do, and your energy will grow exponentially. How? When you focus on doing more of what you love, you will naturally, organically draw in like-minded people to you. And that's part of the human condition. That's how leaders are created. That's how Nelson Mandela got his followers, how Donald Trump got elected. And look, it doesn't matter whether you like President Trump or not. Imagine if Trump had have spent all of his time and energy during his campaign getting the Democrats to like him. Now that would be completely crazy. So what did he do instead? He put all of his time and energy into what the majority wanted: close the borders, end the war in Ukraine, bring back the hostages from Gaza, eliminate violent radical protesters, make the streets safe again, give women's sports back to biological women again. And there are people out there who hate him with a passion, who are so against his decisions, who publicly pick every flaw, every mistake, and attempt to humiliate and degrade him. Now, he certainly has a thick skin, but underneath that tough exterior, he still has to deal with the haters, the death threats, the ones that have, and no doubt those who will attempt to take his life in the future. Now, that is super extreme, but unless you live in a bubble, there are people around you that don't like you, and that is okay. Wherever you're at in your own life, you can follow suit, focusing on the things that are meaningful and significant to you. And maybe along the way, a few people you know, friends will drop off along the way, and you'll get new people around you, new friends that share the same values. Because when you lead with authenticity, you're like a magnet. You draw like-minded people to you, your energy builds, your mission becomes more meaningful, rich, and in that space, there's no limit to what you can be, to what you can accomplish. So what are your truths? What are your values? And look, we're not all running for presidency or leading a movement, but we all find ourselves in social settings, at work, with friends, family, out in public, shopping, we're on holiday or we're traveling. So where do we start? Next time you're in company, at work, out with friends, start by becoming aware of how you walk, how you talk, how you act, how you respond. Hear your thoughts and ask yourself the question, am I being authentic? I'll give you an example. I used to have enough conversation for 3 people. In a social environment, I'd fill in all the gaps, I'd chat away to people I really didn't like that much or respect. And I'd fill in all of those awkward silences with small talk. Why? Because even though I really didn't like them, what was I thinking? That they should really like me? And that's crazy. And you know, I was really missing out on what most successful people know and practice regularly. And that is the power of the pause. To give yourself the gift of time to think and then speak. The most successful people I've ever met all take time to answer questions. And they do that without any regard of impatient listeners around them. So if you find yourself filling in silences to somehow gain more approval, be aware and take a breath and stop doing it. And I would bet that if you don't like someone, they most probably don't like you either. So why make small talk? I mean, you can pretend they can too, but at the end of the day, what a waste of energy. Get a life. You don't have to be rude, you don't have to be disrespectful, but really, unless you're on stage being paid obscene amounts of money to act out a friendship or a loving relationship, then get real, get honest, and do everyone involved a favor and stop wasting your energy and theirs. It's exhausting. Your personal time is way too precious to be putting on a show. I read a book by Wayne Dyer like 2 decades ago, and he said, what other people think of you is none of your business. And this has really stuck with me like a voice in my head. And I just hear this quote when I know I'm not being my authentic self. No matter what, other people are going to talk about your choices of clothes, the way you wear your hair, something you said and how they interpreted it, the size of your butt, your food choices. You'll go out, you'll meet with friends or spend the day at work, and as soon as you walk out, you have no idea what they're saying about you. You have no control over the opinions they have of you in their mind, and spending time mulling over other people's opinions of you is so incredibly wasteful because it's something none of us have any control over whatsoever. So how do we find our center? How do we come back to our true, authentic self? Say it out loud. What other people think of me is none of my business. And once you've given yourself this reminder, then come back to your center, your present moment of awareness. Remind yourself of what your values are and why they're meaningful to you, your dreams, your goals. And when you get to this point of accepting and loving yourself for who and what you stand for, you will feel calm and you'll experience peace. And when you experience this calm, it's like you become the eye of the storm, and everything around you becomes so clear, so focused. It's like you can suddenly see everything around you clearly for the first time. And as Wayne Dyer said, no one is capable of making you upset without your consent. So if you begin practicing the intention to be authentic and peaceful with everyone, you connect to peace itself. So let's put this into practice. Your first job is to look at your values. What are you passionate about? In other words, what really matters to you? What are you proud of about yourself? And this isn't a matter of listing your values and then going out there and sharing with everyone what they are. It's about reminding yourself of what's valuable to you and moving through each day with the power of those values intact. You don't have to talk about them. You don't have to put up a poster about them. You just have to ooze your values from every cell in your body. Embody your values that are deep rooted inside of you. And you know, when you really get to that point, you really embody your values, it is so powerful, it's so empowering, and at the same time, it's so peaceful too. You still don't know what your values are?
What the?
Go get yourself a pen and a piece of paper and meet me back here. Okay, so let's go deeper, my friend. If you are struggling with this and you still don't know what your values are, I want you to think of 3 people you admire that you look up to, that are an inspiration to you. Now, they could be a neighbor, they could be a famous person, or someone from your past. Now, I want you to write down their names at the top of vertical columns, and after you've done that, I want you to list the reasons why you like and respect them. And this is crucial to understand. All of the traits that you wrote down, those traits are inside of you. The things that you respect in other individuals resonate with the deepest part of your being. Those are your values too. You just have to start bringing them up to the surface and start living by them. So for me, I admire the YouTube podcaster Tom Bilyeu. The traits I admire are his hunger for knowledge, his dedication to his work, his resilience, his commitment, his focus, the love and respect he openly has for his partner. And before he interviews someone on his show, he carries out the greatest amount of research on this person, that when he introduces them, his ability to make them feel like the most essential and honored person on the planet is second to none. And from that foundation, this person gives the best interview they have ever given. And I greatly admire Jane Goodall for her life's commitment to animal welfare, to raising the awareness of plight of primates around the world, her dedication to educate young people to be aware and care for the future of our planet, our wildlife, each other, and our four-legged friends. And I honor and respect my Uncle John. He has since passed. He was like a brother to me growing up, and then he suddenly disappeared. I heard he'd gone to live in London, and then after about 35 years of no contact at all, I eventually found him. We connected on FaceTime. Unfortunately, he was dying from a brain tumor, and he told me all of those years ago he had to leave home because he was gay, and he knew his dad, his family, people around him would never have approved. Straight away, as soon as I heard this, I flew to England to visit him, to spend time with him. He had found the courage at last to start an authentic life. It cost him his family, his friends, but he needed to be true to himself. For individuals like this, I'm pretty sure that once they make a decision to honor their true self, they don't waste time and energy pretending to like people they don't, wearing clothes other people expect them to wear, eating, drinking what everyone else is expecting, or fearing rejection. No, their energy is way too valuable to spend it on a whole lifetime of caring what everyone around them thinks. So can anyone really be successful by pretending to be and live against their true values? In my opinion, no. Yes, they may have money, the lifestyle, but what's really going on behind closed doors? When they're alone with themselves, are they content? Are they at peace? Are they grateful? Imagine if you are so set on wanting people to like you, then you have to be basically changing your personality for every one of those people. So is that who you are? Someone who changes personality to provide what you think that other person wants from you? And get your head around this one. I am what I think you think I am. So our whole identity then becomes based on what we think other people will accept, like, love, and admire. But then who are you? Maybe you don't know. Because if you've been spending years pleasing other people, portraying a personality that's pleasing to others, then you're not being true to yourself. And at some stage, the glue holding it all together, it'll wear off. And who do you turn to when no one knows who you really are? It's time to get real, to take off the mask and say, this is me, warts and all. And some people will love you and others will really dislike you. And that is none of your business, because trying to please everyone is as impossible as stopping the world from spinning. It'll never happen. So how about you start fresh? And because you love yourself, you start by being true to yourself. So what happens when we feel misunderstood? When you feel like other people just don't get you? They just don't understand what you're trying to get across? Again, you are going to put all of your time and energy in trying to change other people's opinion of you. Really? Isn't your time better spent on things that you love, the things that you're passionate about, taking care of your body, your mind, so that you can be of service to those who are in line with you, that are on your wavelength? There is no way to grow, to achieve, to succeed in anything unless we're willing to take risks. And taking risks means that other people around you will have their own opinions about that. You could give a talk to 500 people and there will be 500 different opinions about you. 500 different views. And of course, many will not have understood your message, and that's okay. It's just where they're at in their journey. I remember when I first read the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, over 15 years ago, and didn't have a clue what he was going on about. Now, I read it 15 years later, and I gained so much insight, so much wisdom, so much value. Guys, you will always be given well-intended advice, and you can listen to that. But allowing your aspirations to be shut down, well, it's up to you if you're going to take it on board, or you could remind yourself, what you think of me and my decisions, well, it's none of my business. And I'd like to finish with the very famous prayer that sums up how most of us really want to live our lives and uphold our values. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Love yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.